Hello and welcome to a new episode of Victoria 3 A to Z. Today we are actually gonna play Central America, a nation which I've been looking forward to. Now the problem with Central America is that usually this happens. The country completely collapses, and we are only left with El Salvador. But there are a couple ways to avoid that. The first one would be to keep your turmoil at less than 20% in all of your states, which I think is the way this country was intended to be played. But that's also extremely hard. Getting the turmoil down is not an easy task. However, there is another way. There is an exploit that one of you pointed out, and that is, well, just dividing Central America myself, and releasing everybody as my subjects. Okay, so now we only hold our capital state, and this little one right here, which I would like to give away to Guatemala. Let's do that. And now if I unpause, the state is transferred and we get the dissolution of Central America. Let's say we accept our fate. We become El Salvador and we get rid of all the journal entries. But now since everybody is still my subject, I can just go to Central America and form it again. And that's it, we reunited. The dissolution of Central America was avoided in just 3 days. So now we can actually start playing. First of all, research. I want stock exchange. And I need a new government. Let's get this one, for example. We're actually starting off with some pretty good laws. We're a presidential republic with census suffrage. We have cultural exclusion and freedom of conscience. We have interventionism, per capita taxation. Yeah, we're doing really well. I don't really need to get core laws this time around. Let's also make sure we get some taxes. A lot of them. I want money. That's enough for 1, maybe 2 construction sectors. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I will need to develop my basic resources. Now diplomacy. I want good relations with the US and with Britain. As for Mexico, I might want to attack them together with the US. But we'll see. And I would also like to attack Colombia at some point as well. But for that, we'll need a bigger army. As for legislation, let's try to get dedicated police force. Let's actually declare rivalry on those guys. And then let's improve with France and with Russia. Looks like Mexico annexed Texas. I think that's bad news for us. We got a new president. A landowner president. I suppose now I could form this government. Dedicated police force enacted. So how about we also try to get some elected bureaucrats? Unfortunately, our economy is not doing too well. But that will change. Because now I'm able to join the British market. I think that's a good idea. There we go, we're in the customs union. And now we can use the best production methods for everything. And the economy is getting better. We'll also have to expand our basic industries a bit more. Industries like paper and guns. Now let's get Napoleonic warfare and then skirmish infantry. I want to get a military advantage on my neighbors. After that I might try to go and get railways. And we got elected bureaucrats. Now we'll try to get the intelligentsia in government. That's because I really want to get some public schools. That would be perfect. Now I think at some point I might also want a navy. So let's just get a couple flotillas all over the place. I noticed if I attack Mexico right now, there is a pretty good chance the British will support me. So maybe I should try it. Although I'm not 100% sure what will happen. And we also get the age of caudillos. I guess might makes right. Okay, and actually I can not only bring in Britain, but also the US. And I might want to get the US actually. Let's promise them Texas. And the Mexicans are now fearful. Well, I hope they don't just give up. But I wanted to get the US in here, because they will also have a truce with them. So that means I can better control the US expansion in Mexico. Now from Mexico I also want a couple more states. Like this one right here, maybe this one as well. And that's about it. I can't take any more stuff. And thankfully the Mexicans actually chose to fight. Well, I'm 100% relying on the Americans. Oh my god, they don't stand a chance. There we go, we can enforce all of our demands. We are expanding. Let's also incorporate those states. And I didn't even get that much infamy. Now all of a sudden Britain wants to take my debt. But I'll have to give them an obligation. Now I think I will decline. I don't have that much debt. And we got skirmish infantry unlocked. We got public schools, finally. Now we can get a more legitimate government. And maybe we can also go for some protectionism. And all of a sudden the landowners are plotting a coup. Let's keep an eye on them. Protectionism is enacted. I think it's a bit better than mercantilism. Not by a lot, however. Now all of a sudden a lot of people want to get poor laws. But that will radicalize the landowners, so I think I'll be waiting on that. The truce with Mexico is over. So it's time for another war. And looks like the US is still willing to join. Let's see, what do you want? New Mexico, Utah or California? I guess you can have New Mexico. And all of a sudden Russia supports Mexico. Well, this will be a pretty big war then. But I still think we can do it. America is really overpowered. Now the capital of Mexico is right here on the border. And it's one of the few capitals that is landlocked. So that means I could just conquer everything around Mexico City. And then the entire country will lose the market access. So that seems like a good idea. Let's take this state, this one as well. And I don't have any more maneuvers. I'll have to do another war to get this one at some point. And also I'm getting a lot of infamy right now. Okay, and the Russians are starting to arrive. But they're only going to the US border. So I think I can just do whatever I want in Mexico. Oh well, not really actually. The Russians actually got some troops here as well. Well, I guess once again I'm gonna rely on the US. Or maybe let me just get one unit and do a naval invasion behind those guys. I really don't see why not. Leadership change. So this guy, this Democrat general, is gonna take over the landowners. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And now the coup is expected to lose progress. There we go, it fizzles out. And I could actually resign my president from office. Yeah, let's do it, why not? And we can actually enact poor laws because this guy is stepping down. Okay, why not? And now all of a sudden this guy is the president? Okay, that's interesting. Let's form this government then. Yeah, no, this was a really weird political development. And we can enforce our demands on the Mexicans now. There we go, even with all the help from Russia, they were not able to win. Integrate the states, and those newly acquired states also have some gold mines. So that's pretty cool. Now, since I still have the church in government, I can get public health insurance. Let's hope it works. And now the US are belligerent towards me. We have been best friends up until now, but all of a sudden you don't like me. That's some bad news. We now also have a healthcare system. Okay, now we can actually form this government, a more liberal one. Yeah, I think I can do that. And then I might try to get some guaranteed liberties. Path to liberalism completed. Yeah, I guess we're pretty liberal. And we finally also unlocked railways. Yeah, we kinda need them at this point. Romanian mass migration. I did not expect that one. And again another leadership change. I could get a traditionalist on the landowners, but no, I don't think I will. Now I might actually try to switch to skirmish infantry. That's because my truce with Mexico is over, but I don't think I can get America on my side anymore. So we'll have to attack them on our own, but they are not that powerful right now. Let's just hope nobody else joins. Seems like nobody did. So we can add some more states, like this one for example, and this one up here because it has some gold, and this one, and I have just enough maneuvers for this one as well. So yeah, I'm conquering quite a lot of stuff. Well, it's not like those guys can stand a chance against me, let's be real now. Took their capital and now we're just waiting. We also got guaranteed liberties. And let's end this war. Now Mexico has been divided in three, and their capital is completely isolated from the rest of their country. To put it simply, I basically destroyed Mexico. We can establish our first company, which will have to be the gold one, there is no question about it. Now I could actually try to go for total separation, and nobody will be mad about it. The US is now taking Mexico, and looks like they're gonna take every single state until they reach the west coast. Okay, now the borders of Mexico are looking even worse. The truce with Mexico is now over. It's time for another war, although this time Grenada might join. Okay, then I'm gonna fight everybody. Actually, nobody seems to join against me. Okay, then I want some more states from you. I want Rio Grande, and also why not give me Mexico itself. And we also completely separated church and state. Now there is a movement to get universal suffrage, but I don't want to radicalize the landowners, so I guess I'll wait. Okay, the Liberal Party just won the election, so we have to form a government with the intelligentsia. But I don't really have any laws I want to go for at this point. Or at least I can end the war with Mexico. There we go, I think I'll let them live in Baja California. But the rest of Mexico is mine. Now I'll have to get my infamy down. So seems like a war will start between France and the Netherlands. They are trying to take a lot of states. And I could join France and get something from the Netherlands as well. Like for example, I can make them transfer a subject in Indonesia. Let's take Banjar, they have the biggest GDP. But then the British joined the Netherlands. Okay, sorry France, I'm not supporting you anymore. I'm not going to war with Britain. I'm in their customs union. And now we can establish a second company. Let's go for the metal one. Gold rush, we found more gold. Oh, now we're also getting the Central American dream. Okay, that's great. Okay, now all of a sudden the Austrians, who are a theocracy, want me to join their customs union. Well, I think the British one is better, but then again they have a lot of land near my proximity. Land which I might want to take at some point, so it could be a good idea. Okay, I'll do it. Let's see if we're getting any shortages. No, actually not. And at this point my infamy has mostly gone away, so I think it's a good idea to attack Colombia and take Panama and maybe a little bit more. Let's take our rightful Central American land. And those guys are still using line infantry, so it should be pretty easy. I'm only taking those two states from them. Okay, that's a bit better. And now we got the last caudillos. Okay, that's fine I guess. And also the Austrians are now having a civil war, which means we have a lot of shortages everywhere. And I can't even help them in this. But I think Russia and Spain have this covered. And we might also be getting a huge Mexican succession. Okay, it's not that bad actually. We can definitely deal with this. And the Austrian theocracy remains intact. And then the Austrians get another civil war. Let's see if anybody comes to the raid. And we're having so many shortages, we're even getting the hard times event. Now I've been developing quite good relations with France. And Austria, as you can see, is extremely unstable. So I think I'll leave the customs union and instead I'll join France. I think this is for the better. Okay, yes, we are doing a bit better. Now since we don't have any infamy, I think it's time to expand again. And I was thinking about Haiti. They are extremely weak and I don't think anybody will try to support them. Oh my god, and now everybody wants homesteading right now. This will radicalize the landowners, but at this point I don't really have a choice. Yeah, I think we'll get a civil war either way. Well, at least we'll be annexing Haiti. There we go. That's exactly what I needed right now. Okay, let's go. Let's fight everybody. And the French actually joined to help me. That's very nice of them. And we're already getting a revolt in Haiti. Well, at least we got homesteading, so that's something. Okay, finally our country is united again. Now I notice Britain is going into a war against Siam, so I think they're pretty busy over here. That means I could attack them and take over all of their land in this region. Let's start by transferring their subject right here. And I could bring in France, but I don't really think I need them. And I also want to conquer Guatemala, Jamaica, and why not the Bahamas as well. Let's see if we can take everything. Yeah, I think we'll be able to occupy everything. But we'll also have to hold it for a pretty long time. Let's hope the fighting in Siam continues. And they are trying a naval invasion as well. But I don't think it will work. We are barely holding on. But the UK is in the negatives. So this is still going pretty well. Okay, not anymore. They might be landing. And that's it. They landed. I can't really beat them on ground. But they are in the negatives, so let's try to get a peace deal. I will let you keep the Bahamas. Let's get this peace deal. Okay, this is a fair compromise. Now let's reduce the autonomy of this guy. He accepted. And in a couple years I'll be able to completely annex him. And then we'll finally have control over all of Central America. Okay, you know what? The borders of Mexico are starting to bother me. So let me take over Baja, California. Oh, and they just gave it to me. How nice. Now Mexico only exists in like half of Colorado. Guess what? We got steel frame buildings. So we could try to use them. Although it will cost a lot more money. Okay, I had to delete a couple construction sectors, but now we're doing pretty well. And all of a sudden the royal folk are now plotting a coup. But it's fine, the coup fizzles out. And now I can finally also annex those guys, but they will not accept. I will have to fight them. I noticed that for an obligation I can now also form an alliance with Argentina. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should get an ally. Okay, now I think we can start enacting universal suffrage. And that war is over. Now Central America controls all of Central America. And the British now want to connect the two oceans. So they want to buy the Panama Canal from me. No, I'm not gonna give it away. If somebody will build the Panama Canal, then that will be me. Okay, now Italy wants a defensive pact with me. Yeah, I will accept. Now in case Britain wants to attack me and get Panama themselves, they'll have to also fight Italy. Now we got this event, populating the Americas. And we'll get 25% more migration attraction. And of course we can also use this button to create a mass migration. Looks like we're getting one from Portugal. Well, I think that will be useful. And from now on everybody has the right to vote. Now I think it will be a good time to make a protectorate in Colombia. Only Venezuela will join. And they actually just back down. Okay, that's great. Well, how about we try the same for Venezuela? But those guys actually want to fight. Well, that's fine. Let's enforce my demands. Now I think we can start surveying the Panama Isthmus. I really want to eventually build that canal. The Panama survey is over. Now we can actually go ahead and construct the Panama Canal, which will take a little bit. And I can use my leftover bureaucracy to upgrade some institutions. I think I'll go like this, with a focus on healthcare. Okay, the French want a defensive pact. Sure, why not? I mean, the British just became belligerent towards me. Another company available. Which one should I go for? I think this one, the steel company. Now let's reduce the autonomy of Colombia. But they want to fight. But then Peru-Bolivia sides against me. Well, then I'm calling in Argentina. And also the French are in a war with Papua, and they are actually willing to give me an obligation if I join. So I think I will. I think this is gonna be pretty easy. Let's end this. Okay, much better. Now let's do the same for Venezuela. And looks like Spain sides against us. That is some horrible news. I guess I'm gonna bring in Argentina, although I'm not too sure how much it will help. Okay, the war is over. In the meanwhile, Africa is getting colonized. As you can see here in Europe, Italy formed. Britain expanded from Gibraltar. And other than that, not a lot changed. The East India Company retained a high degree of autonomy. But overall, the world is looking pretty normal. But let's go back to us. We are actually the number 9 power in the world. We have the 12th largest economy, a pretty good literacy rate, and a growing population with over 30 million people. Meanwhile, we're also getting a lot of migration from a bunch of other states. Yeah, that's how the culture map mode looks like in case you're wondering. We have large minorities of Portuguese, French, Romanians, Albanians, Poles, basically everybody is here. Well, anyway, those are all the laws I managed to pass. Those are my institutions. That's the census data in case you're wondering. And those are my companies. So that's it, thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Victoria 3, and I'll see you in the next one.